Go live. Hello. This is the best intro ever already. I don't know. I was going to be really dramatic and then say something.
You look like the head from Art Attack when you moved your head then.
Hello, it's me, the head. And welcome to OKKO Anime Club, number 40, where we're talking about Owari no Seraph, which is Seraph at the end. It's a show about vampires and stuff. I am joined, as always, by my lovely friend. I'm pointing to her on Skype, but I'm probably not pointing in the right direction. It's Ebby, it's Bizarre Jelly 5, and then we are also joined by other good friend, Andy, from Vectra Gaming. He's probably not even over there. I think I'm at the end, so I'm just pointing into the abyss. So he's over there somewhere. So
he's in one of the directions around this area. He's somewhere
in this video. Somewhere you will find Andy.
My life is a mess at the moment. Oh God!
We're late because of him.
Yeah, you've literally just recovered from your computer exploding, haven't you?
Yes, I've in the last hour I've reinstalled Windows and everything on it to actually get this working.
Before this, he was on an iPad, which would have been interesting. So I guess just for the sake of, I don't know, officialness, Andy, who the hell are you and what do you do?
I'm Andy. I'm part of Vectra Gaming, which is a gaming network and not really anything to do with anime. But we do a podcast with Ebby, and we also do a lot of live streams over on twitch.tv/Vectra Gaming. And our podcast is called The Spawn Point, and it's generally coming out every single week, depending on what's happening in like recent events. Yeah, it all depends on like if there's anything decent to talk about, and we try and talk about stuff. But yeah, that's really it.
It's a fun podcast. I'm sure links will be in the description at a point, but otherwise you can go to youtube.com/Vectra Gaming.
Yeah, it's also on iTunes as well. If you don't like seeing our faces and you just like taking it out and about.
That's just rude. I mean, why would you not want to see this face once a week? That was sarcasm. I'm not that full of myself. Just an FYI.
Sure.
So, little bit of housekeeping before we start, just on a personal level for me. You may have noticed that my name has changed in the thing. For anyone who isn't aware, I rebranded last week. I am now known as Crows, and my channel is Crows and a Manga. My content has changed pretty dramatically, so go and check it out. I've been talking about lots of the stuff from the new season in very short and concise videos because
Sam's been watching more stuff than me.
I know, it's crazy. So I've talked about, what have I talked about so far? I've talked about Phoenix Wright, I've talked about Kisniver, I've talked about Joker Game, Bungo Stray Dogs, I said Ace Attorney, didn't I? Well, some stuff.
Shitloads of stuff.
And I'm also, tomorrow I'm going to be recording my first impressions of JoJo's, Twin Star Exorcists, and Terraformars Revenge. That'll be a fun one.
Oh yeah, for those of you who are here before, Andy was also the guest on the Terraformars episode.
And
you were through that hell.
You were involved in the Patama Inverted one as well, weren't you, at Amichibi? So
yeah, that was very.
Well, you are a friend of the channel.
A friend of OKKO Anime Club.
I basically bring all these shows down.
No, we do that more than enough without you. So anyway, with all that gumph out of the way, let's talk about an anime, shall we?
Whoop.
Ebby.
Yeah.
What did you think of Seraph at the end?
Okay, so I went into this show thinking it was going to be the worst thing ever because everybody who talks about this show is just like, it's not very good, I don't like it, kind of hate it, I think it's trash. I actually really enjoyed it, and I don't get why people think it's the worst thing ever, because it's not.
Because it's popular, that's why.
It is fucking really popular.
I bet that's all it is. It's just a knee-jerk reaction to it being popular, as with everything.
Like Chris from Anime Club, like Real Anime Club, where he'd be like, "Oh, I'm not watching Death Note. It's popular." Like, shut up, it's good. But yeah, I like it. I thought it was good. It wasn't perfect, but it was better than average in my opinion. And I thought it looked real pretty for the most part, apart from some CGI awkwardness and stuff. But yeah. Emily's right. You'll probably enjoy anything more than Secco Boys. Just before this, we recorded an episode about Secco Boys, and I was so done with that show. So, yeah, there you go. My feelings on it.
Who's next? You gonna pick on me or Andy?
I'm gonna pick on Andy. Let's bring Andy.
Okay. I think I enjoyed it, like this show. Although, like,
You think?
I think I did. I sort of went through phases. There was like the start of it, and I was like, I don't know if I like it, and then I sort of started liking it, and then I think I went a bit. I was all over the shop with it, really, and I think it's just generally leveled out as that was fun in places. So I think it was generally okay. I mean, I've got some issues with it, and obviously we'll chat about that later.
Yeah, I've got one major issue with it. So
I think I know what that is, and it's probably something that's shared by all of us.
I shouted at you about it yesterday.
Little mini rant about it yesterday. Yeah. So I'm the only one that's left. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed it.
Oh my god!
What a surprise! Well, yeah, like I don't know though, because Seraph at the End has been bigged up quite a lot since it started, and it's another one of these things where everyone that I know who's liked it has gone, "Go on, Cam, I reckon you'll really enjoy it," because my tastes are extremely linear and very easy to predict. So, and it always pisses me off when I watch them and I actually do enjoy it. Because I'm like, am I this predictable? But no, I think I share the same sentiments as the pair of you in that there are a couple of niggling issues, but as a whole, I really enjoyed it, and I felt that there was definitely like a payoff towards the end. There was like this one holy shit moment around episode 10, which kind of made me think, this is all worth it. And, you know, it wasn't a long show. It was a very easy watch. I'd argue that the first few episodes were a bit clunky, and it does kind of throw a lot of things at you. But, you know, as just kind of I'm going to watch this because vampires and swords and stuff, it was good. I liked it. And I've forgotten everyone's names. So I'm just going to quickly crack. I'm going to quickly crack open my anime list.
While you do that, I will do some housekeeping with chat. We are just talking about the first 12 episodes. We are not talking about season 2. So you'll see that we have two lovely moderators in chat, being Kinross and Emily. If you spoil season 2, it is their job to time you out or ban you if you continue to do so. So don't do it.
We're going to be pretty strict. I hope the mods hear this because I haven't told them what the rules are. The rules are is you get 2 strikes. You get timed out the first time, then you get banned. Simple as. We're not mucking around here. No, and you're not getting warnings either. You should know what a spoiler is.
So you can talk about season 1 as much as you want. Do not talk about season 2 because
obviously mods discretion, but that's generally what we're going to work with going forward. Shinoa, best girl. So carrying on.
I mean, she's really only good character that was a female.
She was pretty much only girl for the most part. But I think even if she had competition, I would still be like, yeah, man, give me a piece of that.
I think her only competition was blonde.
Hello?
Oh, dear.
Hello? What? What's happened?
I think his computer has fucked.
Hi.
Oh, yes!
Mate.
Hello?
Quick, get the iPad!
Can you see me? Can you see my face? Okay, good.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. My screen just went blank and I was just like...
As far as we were concerned, nothing changed. We were just like, oh god, can you hear me? Like, nothing was different.
This is gonna... I had a kind of disaster podcast earlier because we were talking about Secco Boys. I feel like this is gonna be a disaster stream, but it's fine. What the fuck were we talking about?
We were literally just about to start the discussion. So
right. Can I do my biggest...
Get your big gripe out of the way first, because this is a pretty big one.
Why the fuck does it take place in a school for half the series? It got
I
so
agree.
interesting after they like weren't in school anymore, and I have this problem. I get it, it's anime, they're all set in schools, but I have this problem with so many things, and it's like Blue Exorcist, set in Exorcist school. Oh, okay, a Warrior No Seraph, set in demon hunting school now, I guess, I don't know. Like, it was so good after they weren't in school, so
I would say that like the first 2 episodes follow, and then there's like a gap when they're in school with a couple of cool bits, but and then it was after they went on actual mission that it got really good.
It's like fucking apocalypse with vampires, and they still managed to go to school for some reason. I don't get it.
I mean, I was going to say, it did kind of explain it. Like, it was a really bad explanation. It was basically Voltec school. So it was there to like have everyone exposed to this demon in the basement, and it like draw people in and weed out all of the weak people. And like, if they're not influenced from it, then they're the type of person that could go and get a demon or a cursed gear.
Yeah. Again, though, does that need to be in a school?
No.
It could have just been a military initiation thing. Like, right, you're in the military, go in there. If you get screwed over by the demon, we'll put you on the proper training course. It's like, it was just, it's unnecessarily, and I think it is just because I think a lot of writers feel like it's an easy way to appeal to younger teenagers because they're in a school, that is their world, that's what they know. So I think it makes the setting more easy to relate to because it's in a school, like for younger people. But for people like us who understand the world outside of school, when it's every single show ever, we're just like, can you not just have something that's set somewhere else, please? For the love of Christ.
Kenros also brought up another thing that was an issue, so remind me to say that.
The massive spoiler in the opening.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's only a spoiler up until episode 4.
Yeah,
so it's not
still,
too much of a big deal.
No,
I still think it's kind of a big deal that they put it in the opening in the second episode just after we assumed Mika had died, and then it's like, oh man,
there's
vampire
actually
one is coming out of the shadows.
There's actually two or three spoilers in the OP. The other thing that I noticed was, right, let's see if we can get the guys' names right. The fact that Yuchi doesn't die when he gets the cursed gear, and it shows him using his cursed gear.
Well, it shows everyone with the cursed gear. So yeah.
So that was.
I mean, I made the assumption that he'd be okay because plot armor, but
yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think it detracted from the fact it's like could he die? I was well, no, he can't because he's in the opening.
I think that's the thing,
because I noticed that because he was a badass archer, and I was like, yeah, archer.
Yeah. He wears a hat. Like that was my response. He wears a hat. I can relate to the hat. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. I think a lot of shows do that. I mean, perfect comparison to that is I don't know if either of you have seen the Pandora Hearts anime.
No.
That does the exact same thing with Gilbert, where he like dies in the first episode, and then he's there later on in like an older form. After because the main character gets sent to the future, and Gil's just there being like, "Yo, I'm alive." So yeah.
Anime needs to stop doing that. I complained about it in the first JoJo's episode that we did as well, when I was like, well, that bit got spoiled for me because really obvious bit in the fucking opening, but
that's why I liked I keep going back to this one, but I think it's the third Bleach opening is like my favorite example of an opening for an anime, because what it does, it doesn't spoil anything, because all the fights that are coming up in the series, basically the characters get mixed up. So in the opening, there are different characters fighting people that they don't fight in the show. So you still get the spectacle of what they can do and what like the attacks that are coming up and stuff. But it's not what's actually going to happen. And I think that's a good way of doing it. But I don't know. It depends. I think the idea is with the opening, they're supposed to they want to give an impression of what's coming up and show you a little bit of everything. But as a result, they can spoil some stuff.
it was just so blatantly obvious. Like when it's one of those things that you can look back on and go, "Oh, that was smart, that was clever and subtle," but then it's just like, little boy with his older form coming up out of his shadow, and then him doing this, opening his mouth. He's got long fangs. I'm like, well, he's vampire then.
Yeah, I think they could have done it better, like having a second opening, like for the first few episodes before we know that he's come back as a vampire. Just have it maybe as like kid him, so it's like, oh, maybe he comes back in a few flashbacks or something, and then afterwards change
and
it.
He does.
Yeah.
Like, we have this running joke about Gundam Seed, where we call like one of the main characters Athron. We call him Flashback Athron because he keeps having flashbacks to this one scene in particular where a character dies, and every time he flashes back to it, it gets more violent every time. So I was like, every time it flashes back to Mika dying, I was expecting it to be more violent every time. I was like, it's flashback you.
One of the like anime that did openings like that the best is surprisingly, I think, Pokemon Best Wishes in Japan, because they had all the Pokemon that hadn't been introduced in the anime yet grayed out, so you couldn't see what the new Pokemon were until they had their episode, and then they would gradually like.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Do you remember that?
We watched their first episode in club, didn't we? And they were all like blacked out.
Like, there's no Pokemon in this opening apart from Pikachu.
Oh yeah, because it's in every single scene as well, isn't it? So it's literally the first episode. It's just Pikachu running through all these silhouettes.
Yeah, and they just like gradually, as the episodes go on and you see more Pokemon, they start revealing what those are. That's smart because it didn't spoil anything for like people who didn't know anything about the Pokemon.
There's another show that did that fairly recently, and I can't remember what it was for the life of me, and it's really annoying me.
If anyone knows.
You know what does that well? Kamen Rider. They don't spoil things in their openings. They just add bits in as it goes on.
Most anime don't really, but this one did. This isn't really talking about the So,
moving on, let's bitch about Veuster for 20 minutes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, Andy. All right, calm yourself. Like, just take a breath. Just take a breath. Do that for me.
So, I'm a subscriber of Veuster. So I got the last boxes that they did, and for some reason, like while I was watching it, it kept on flicking between active subscriber and non-active subscriber, and just putting really obnoxiously placed ads all the way through it. And then next time I did it, no ads at all. It's like, fuck you. I emailed them, and they were like, sorry, there's nothing we can do about that at the minute.
We're going down the pan, I swear.
Yeah.
My experience was the exact opposite. I'm not a subscribing member, and when I was watching it on my phone, you know, the little thing comes up saying we're going to be playing an ad in 10 seconds. It would do that, and I'd be like, oh god, here it comes. 10 seconds. It would go to 0 seconds. It would pause for like a frame, and then just carry on. So I got no ads. Like the app like glitched out, and I got no ads, and I'm not paying for that. I haven't got like an ad blocker on my phone or anything. It literally just didn't show me ads.
And when you watch it on the internet, it automatically defaults to German subtitles.
Yes.
It's
just so annoying.
Why is that a thing?
If you're like me and you like to watch the openings, particularly this one, because I enjoyed this opening, like the song was good.
Yeah.
You get to the end of the opening and the subtitles are in German, and you're just like, what? And then when you change the subtitles, it starts you back to the start.
So you watch the opening and you're like, right, I'm ready for this episode. There's like some scenic stuff for a bit so no one's talking, and then suddenly German, and then they can't English subs, and it takes you right back to the fucking start. It did it with fucking Arslan Senki as well, and it was really annoying.
I would say that we've been spoiled by Crunchyroll, but I think that's over-exaggerating a little bit. There's a difference between being given a watering can that waters your garden and a watering can that's a flamethrower. So, you know...
It's a free service for most of us, not for you, Andy, I get that.
But it's not really fit for purpose, is it?
But
no.
It's getting less and less functional as time goes on. So.
I mean, you can't even subscribe to it anymore because the Omasake boxes are... Omakase. I can't pronounce everything. People should know that by now. And they're obsolete. They no longer exist, and you can't subscribe anymore. So there is no way of removing the ads. Full stop.
So that's basically why you were getting ads, because they've removed the service, but
he still has an active membership that he
Yeah,
pays
exactly.
for,
So obviously the website just didn't know what to do with itself.
It's like, but
Meanwhile, I'm sitting over here going, "You want ad revenue from me? Well, tough. You got to make sure your ad works first."
Oh dear.
Oh,
Anyway,
Should we
talking
talk about
about
the show?
the actual
Yeah.
show.
So
I
let's
don't
talk
know
about
how
it.
to go about this, so you
Let's
can
just
lead.
go. Let's just go in order. We'll talk about characters as they appear, and we'll just go through and kind of dissect the separate events in detail. So we'll start with the first 2 episodes, which is the the opening, which is basically about you and Mika and the orphan kids who are in the farm essentially. This was a really, I thought this was like a really interesting and chilling first couple of episodes, and I wasn't exactly sure how it was going to play out from like seeing all the artwork and stuff for the start. I was like, how do they get from this to that? And I don't know. I guess part of me was kind of disappointed by the way that it played out, but at the same time, I was like, well, shit. What do you guys think?
I have to say, like at the end of episode 1, when pretty much everyone got wiped out, I was just like, they really just built everyone up in this
slaughtered
episode and just killed everyone. It's like that can't be right, can it? And until we saw the OP, it was like, well, okay, we obviously know that Mika survived, and up to that point, I was like, I had it sussed that you and Mika were the 2 main characters in it, and then when that happened, I was like, shit, I was completely wrong. I've made notes about him, and I got rid of them. And I was like, oh, that was useless.
Can we all agree that Feyreed is a knob, like a class A knob?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because he killed like 5-year-olds that I just wanted to protect with all my maternal instincts.
He was like dancing around as well, like, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. And then he got shot in the face, which is probably my favourite moment in the whole series. Because I was like, you're a bellend, and you've been shot in the face. Why did you survive?
It didn't take, though.
No, sadly not. When, what's her name? The queen lady, Claire, begins with a K.
Was it Kumi?
Cruel. It's Cruel Tepes. Or Teeps, or however you pronounce it, I can't remember. When she was like, oh, I could just kill you right now, I was like, do it. Do it, you bitch.
Please. If he doesn't die by the end of season 2, no spoilers, I'm quitting anime. I can't do it anymore.
Just forever.
I just can't. Because I fucking hate him. You can buy a figure of him. I'm tempted to buy it just to melt it down.
I melt, you are Feyreed. But yeah, so I enjoyed it.
kind of surprised that they killed off the girl who had the plant, because I for some reason thought that she'd survive.
I was surprised by that
she was kind of built up as well.
She was built up more than the other kids, but then again, I suppose how much can you build up like a little kid that's like, oh, you come and eat your soup. Yeah,
we've got curry. Yeah,
I'm really cute because I'm 5. Oh, I'm dead.
I mean, I guess that was all really like a plot device to try and put you in the situation of, well, I had a family. I finally got used to them being a family, and I called them the family as they die. I'm not going to work as a team anymore. It's just all about me, and that was the device to get him into that state, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just, it felt like it went in a bit of a circle, and I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, where he goes, oh, I'm hurt from all my family dying, but I have a new family now, and I really like them. So I guess I'll work as a team and stuff.
I think that was supposed to be the point, though, wasn't it? I think it was meant to be cyclical, because that like repeated trauma is what caused the whole thing to happen.
To be fair, he was like, oh, they survived. That's quite nice. So.
Hey. Yeah. So that was. I thought that was good. Like the way that they kind of did that. But we'll get onto that when it happens, and it will forever from this point be known as the moment. You got to do the hand thing as well.
Can I take a break for a second? I'm absolutely desperate.
No. We've only just started talking about the show, and it's been like half an hour.
It's okay. I forgot to use the bathroom before this because I was so stressed out, so I need to be right back, and I'm sorry. Andy, take my place.
Oh god, okay.
I need to get Alan to copy Andy again. Put you in Ebby's spot, so there's just two of you.
I all I can see is black spinning circles, by the way, my end. So I have no idea what I imagine it's like.
So I make the noise, and I get my left arm, and I just kind of put it behind my back, and then like do it as if it's like the tree branch thing that he had coming out of his shoulder.
Right,
that's what it is. And it's perfect. Like, I think people in the chat like shit themselves a little bit. They were like, "Oh God, it's you!"
Dear,
and like fall off their chairs.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I'll see that in a second.
Yeah, man.
Anyway.
It'll be fun. You'll enjoy it. I don't want to progress any further until Abby gets back. So I need to think of like something else to talk about. I suppose like I was a bit. The opening scene, like, you know, at the very start when they're talking about the virus, or as they call it in Japanese, the virus, which always makes me laugh. That I wasn't expecting it to kind of take the turn that it did, considering it presented itself right at the start as like this post-apocalyptic thing where everyone was dying and there were just vampires everywhere. Yeah, I guess it just seemed really strange that, like, how did they build up from that to where they are now in 4 years, or however long it was?
It didn't really explain itself well. Like, it was just like, hey, there's this virus and people are dead, and then I, like, when I first watched it, I was like, well, hang on, are they underground, or are they whereabouts are they? Is this just all enclosed, or are they still out in the world? And I didn't quite grasp to start with that they were in this sort of underground society.
Did I catch this properly? The virus, was that the result of human experimentation?
I assume so.
I think they hint at that, don't they? Because they're like, oh, you're messing with people. You've messed with people before, and look what happened.
Well, then later on, there's the queen, the vampire as well, whatever her name was again. She's like, oh, the humans are messing with the Seraph of the End again. And like we've got to stop them. We don't want the virus to come back. That was kind of like heavily implied that it was the humans that caused it.
So there's a thing that's clearly happened before. I suppose we don't really know that much detail into like the origin of the vampires and things like that. So
no, the one thing that I was really confused about the vampires that apparently the manga explains is the fact that they're fine with sunlight.
Yeah.
And apparently they have some sort of like UV band that they wear that protects them against it. So it's like,
so that makes
sense.
It's like Dancing the Vampire Bund when the vampire puts all that cream all over and it's like sun cream.
Because that's the question that I asked myself when we saw the 13th progenitor, who I've forgotten the name of. He's got a vampire. Oh, Crowley. When we see him walking out in the sunlight, I was like, if he can like just walk around in the sunlight like normal, why do they all live in subway systems? Like, why are all their bases in subways?
And I guess that's
thing?
Do they just really like sandwiches?
No, I think that's to keep the illusion for the livestock that everyone else is dead, and they're like protecting them from the virus outside.
That makes sense. Okay, that's cool. So
if it's true, it's cool.
Yeah. So we move on to Yu escapes and he runs into Guren, who is great because he's a dick.
Guren.
His name's Guren, and he's a bit of a knob, but he's like the opposite, the different kind of knob to Phalid, where Phalid is the kind of knob that I literally just want to castrate with an ice skate. And Guren's the kind of knob where I'm like, oh, you're a bit of a dick, but I like your style.
I genuinely think like there's something else to him, like that's like, sinister.
There's something going on behind the scenes, isn't it? I think he's going to kind of become the secondary antagonist in a way, because he's clearly heavily involved with what's going on with the Seraph of the End and what happened to Yu in episode 11, or episode 10, episode 11.
Yeah.
And there's other things as well, like his cursed gear is like decidedly different to everyone else's, and I want to know why. Because his is red. Like everyone else's curse gear is green, but his is red, and it's like, well, what is the implications of that? At first, I was like, maybe because it matches his art, it like matches his uniform, but it's not.
It could be because like the vampires all have red weapons, so maybe it's something to do with like blood or something. Who knows?
Maybe he's a vampire.
Season 2. I don't know.
Yeah, because I thought it could be like a different level, but he kind of makes the point of saying you're going to get, is it like I think it's like black,
the black demon ones,
demon level, which is the same as my one, so it can't be that.
Yeah, and then you see other people of his rank wielding curse gear that's also green, like the guy with the Byakko Maru, which is the coolest friggin' sniper rifle in the world. It's a sniper rifle that shoots tigers.
Yes.
Anime, ladies and gentlemen.
That was probably one of the highlights of the last few episodes.
Shot fucking tigers.
Fucking did.
I was like,
I thought it was just going to be a bullet, and then 3 tigers came out, and I was
it's called Byakko Maru, so it doesn't make sense because Byakko is the tiger like deity thing. But I was not expecting it to shoot 3 spectral tigers at the guy. It was pro. And I was just like, okay, this show is great no matter what anyone says, because tiger sniper rifle. So yeah, but again, going back to Guren's sword, what is the deal? I want to know why is it red? You've clearly made it different for a reason. Why is it different?
And it seems to have like all these more demonic powers, like because whenever anyone else is using their demon gear, it kind of doesn't seem to have the same effect. Whereas like when he takes it out in the classroom, like in a few episodes' time, like it causes that effect to it, and
where it just like messes everyone up, and wrecks the place. Bloody, not bad. That must have cost loads to fix.
I don't think it really matters in the post-apocalypse, to be honest.
It costs loads of caps to fix that. God.
Yeah, man. Gonna have to trade some chems for this shit.
Get some of that morphine that's lying around all over the place.
Have you got any paracetamol?
Is that what was in? Because I couldn't.
Oh yeah, it was paracetamol.
The drugs. It was either paracetamol or Tic Tacs. It makes you 0.5%, no, like 0.5% stronger or something. 0.5%, 50% stronger. I've been working for a financial advisor for too long. So yeah. So they turn up and they're like, oh, wicked, you want to kill all the vampires? Come hang out with me and live in a school for 4 years. That'll really piss you off. Thing is, that's what you was doing. You is like an insert for people like us who are fed up with anime being set in schools. Yeah. Because at the beginning of the next episode, it's like, why the fuck am I in a school? I've been in a school for 4 years. I want to go out and kill some vampires. I was like, yes, this is exactly what I want you to do as well.
That's why he's called you. He's like Yu Narukami from Persona.
Exactly, it's the whole pun with Yu Narukami, because he's you. I could roll behind that, except I'm not, that annoying. But I say he wasn't that bad. But I will say, the school setting is where we get introduced to best girl, and not only best girl, but possibly best character in the series. Shinoa. And she's great, just because she's a grade A troll. Literally goes out of her way to make Yu's life miserable for the better. And it's just, bro, I think the best thing about her, though, is just, I love her voice. Like, whenever she opened her mouth, the voice acting, combined with just the things that she says, just makes me smile every time. I just got happy. Like, whenever she was on screen, I was like, she's going to say something, and it's going to make me happy. Oh, it did.
It's like, you can't fight because you'll be suspended even more just as he's about to start a fight. Like, oh.
By the way.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to like her that much at first.
It's her voice actor. I'm just gonna click on the button here and find out, because I did recognise her voice. Yeah, I guess I got that impression as well. I wasn't sure at first, and then when she just started doing her thing, on me.
And then by the end of the series, I was like, I really like you.
I hope that you and you do a makeup baby.
There clearly is going to be this love triangle.
Oh yeah,
the girl and
yeah.
I can't be
No
asked with that. I really can't be asked with that.
Well, it's just all supporting roles by the looks of things. It's no one that I would like. I mean, she was Hackwa in The World God Only Knows, but I'm not going to recognise that, am I? Because I hate Hackwa.
Hackwa's the best. She's better than Elsie. Like, what the fuck?
I think Elsie begs to differ. Thank you very much. The
I was
people probably
joking.
can't
Elsie
see that
is
being cropped out.
Elsie is better than Hackwa, but I still like Hackwa.
Shut up. She's trash. And I don't use that term lightly. She was Fubuki in One Punch Man. Hooray. Yeah, like no one that I really recognise, which makes me sad. But no, I really like her voice acting, just because, I don't know, she just had this kind of cadence that made me like, oh, you're adorable, and also hilarious.
Yeah.
So she got introduced. We also get introduced to what's his name?
To
the guy who looks like he should be in Haikyuu.
Yoichi.
Oh no, not that guy.
Who is an adorable cinnamon roll who must be protected at all costs.
I think he was my favourite character because I just want to cuddle him and make him know that he's okay, and also he's an archer.
Cinnamon roll who must be protected at all costs. Archer wears a hat.
He's like Gokutai, but with a bow instead of a sword.
Yeah, exactly. If he'd shot tigers out of his bow...
Oh, that would have been pro.
Maybe that's when he upgrades. Cursed gear, level 2, tigers.
Be great.
So awesome. I think the thing that I liked about... or the bit that I like the most about Yoichi is the bit where he gets possessed by the demon. Because the other two... kind of... Obviously, what happened with those two. I mean... Shiho got his off screen, so clearly they gave a shit about him getting his cursed gear. But obviously we knew that Yu was gonna be successful and go like, oh, here we go, katana.
Yeah.
But I liked that they did what they did with Yoichi, because they were like saying, oh, he's pretty like good at withstanding demon possession, so he should be all right. But he didn't. He failed. And I was like, this is good. It shows that he is a weaker personality, and while he maybe is resistant to that kind of thing, he's still easily led astray because of how much he doesn't want to fight. Like, he has these ideals, and he's got things that he wants to do, but he's got his like internal barriers that stop him because he's scared. And then he became a man-eating demon, which was pro, and I kind of wish that he'd kept his horns because they were cute.
Of course you do.
Not gonna lie. However, it would have made wearing a hat an issue, so there's a conflict of interest there.
That was another tropey thing that was in there, where it was like, we can pull him back from the abyss with the power of friendship.
Give him a hug, mate.
Although I did think it was really cute when he stopped being a demon and then he just like sees you and just runs up to him and like glumps him. Like,
it was like, oh, adorable. I can feel the Fujoshis now, just like vibrating on all corners of the earth.
It's happening.
My dreams.
I think it's at that stage where we kind of start to see a bit of chink in Yu's, like, I'm all for myself for a bit, and then he's like, nah, I'm all for myself again, and he keeps on going back to that, and I was like, can't he just get over this? Please, can you just...
all of his friends were like murdered in front of him, so I can give him a pass for a bit, because it would have been difficult for him. I agree. Like, I think he just sort of went along with it. Like, I loved it when Shino was like, "Congratulations, you made a friend," and he's just like, "What?" And then those two random delinquents turn up and just start calling Yoichi boss. They're just like, "Boss, you have to help us, boss." He's just like, "What? No, talk to this guy. He can deal. He can handle your demon axe problems." That, I will say, when you going back a bit to when you got possessed by the axe, that was cool. I really liked the way that they did it, where he walks up to the guy, kind of like kicked him in the face or whatever. This show likes kicking people in the face. I will just throw that out there as well. People get kicked in the face a lot. And then he grabs the axe, and then like in the immediate frame when he grabs the axe, bam! Suddenly we're back in the first episode. And I like that. There was no singing, no dancing, just boom, straight there. What the fuck? Okay, now we have to kind of readjust to what's going on. And I feel that was there was no better way that they could have done to try and give a sense of what you is going through. Like, obviously, suspension of disbelief only works to a point. We were always going to know, okay, this was the demon doing whatever. I think that was the closest they could get, where they're just like, no messing about, here you are, deal with this shit.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was really well done, and I was like, okay, this is pretty sweet. And then he didn't get the axe, and that axe was probably my favourite weapon in the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was just,
he got a sword.
Sword. And the sword is alright.
Why would he want an axe anyway? He's already, like, quite proficient in swords. Why would he want an axe when he already knows how to use swords?
It was a cursed gear. It could kill vampires, and that's all that he cares about.
You just wanted to
shit with this, mate, but it's like his weapon proficiency was an E. He needs to get it up to at least a B before.
What's for breakfast? Is it dead vampires? I don't care then. That's all he's bothered about. What I was hoping, because in the opening you don't really get to see much of, because they're banging their weapons around and stuff. All I could get the impression of was what's her name, blonde-haired girl, was using an axe. You don't get to see any of the details of the axe, and I was hoping that it was going to be that axe, like it would come back somehow, but no. And I was like, oh, it's just this weird like crescent thing, which was all right, but it would have been better if it was the massive great off axe that we saw in episode 3 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm a stickler for continuity. I like it when they do things like that, rather than use something new. If there's something similar that's been introduced earlier on, I'd rather they bring that back, just to kind of make it so things flow better. But no.
I think at that stage, like, she had already got her curse gear, and that was just a demon like axe that was just there, and it wasn't one that. Yeah, they couldn't have a contract with that demon that had that axe. It was just been like.
Well, they could have just been like, yeah, it was my curse gear. I plopped it down there to fuck with you.
I guess.
Or like, Guren ordered me to put it down there to mess with you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after that,
we didn't really talk about the glasses guy with the ear piercings.
Well, he doesn't. He turns up now. So we do the thing with the curse gear in the basement.
Oh, I thought we'd already talked about. Sorry.
It's we jump forward and then we jump back.
Yeah.
So we get to the episode where it's the aptitude tests and Shiho turns up.
No, it was the vampire Mika episode next.
Oh,
because right at the end of that we find out that Mika's alive. Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah.
And then the next one is like his story, kind of as him starting to be a vampire.
Is that the whole episode? I can't remember.
I literally watched this yesterday, and they've all like meshed into one.
Yeah, I know.
Oh no! So no, you do meet the pink-haired glasses guy. Shiho. Yeah, so you do meet him, but sort of part way into that episode.
Yeah, I think it does that thing where it kind of gives you that story, and then it jumps you back. Because I'm pretty sure the second half of the episode is the aptitude tests, like the physical aptitude tests. And then the episode after that would be the written ones.
Yeah.
Which is when they go on to get the curse gear. Because episode 4. Yeah, because when they get the curse gear in episode 5. Okay, so that makes sense. So yeah, we see that's quite cool because we get to see a bit more of Mika and what's going on with him, and essentially how he became a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't quite give away the sort of intermediary point that he's still at until a bit later on.
I don't know. I think it starts to do that because, like, after they saved it, the vampires have saved all the humans and like turned them into livestock. There's that little girl that sort of like, "Hey, thanks for saving me." Take some of my blood, and Mika's like, "Actually, you know what? Nah, I'm alright."
Probably leave it, mate. Oh yeah, they do that. Yeah. But I suppose they don't make because there's that bit where he's all like, "No, I will not drink blood. Rah, I'm not going to do it." But that doesn't happen until later on.
Yeah, so it kind of gives that glimpse that he's like, "Well, I'm still not cool with being a vampire."
He's a special snowflake. That's the only impression that I could get of Mika. Unfortunately, I can't get behind Mika's character. Like, he's interesting, but he's a bit of a special snowflake.
See, I think I quite like Mika, but I think I only like him in relation to you. like as a plot point, even though it's cliche, whatever.
I think
I like the whole like, oh, person you know is now this bad thing that you've been fighting against. What do? I don't know. I like plots like that for some reason. But
yeah, it was the way they dealt with it was interesting. I guess I just have a few like niggling things about it. Like you could make the argument that the reason why Mika was hanging around with the vampires was because he knew that you was going to be all like, I'm gonna kill all vampires. And if he hung around with the vampires for long enough, maybe he would turn up to kill them. But at the same time, I'm like, if you were really that bothered and all you cared about was finding you, wouldn't you just throw caution to the wind?
I don't know. I think
especially if you hate humans that much for what they're doing.
I was gonna say, I think he's been a bit brainwashed by like the vampires. Because he's like, oh, I mean, it's like later on, but it's like, oh, I'm gonna save you from those like dirty humans.
Those bastards!
Humans! Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I guess I think it's just me. Like I wonder if because he's been presented in a certain way, I'm like trying to not like him. I don't know, because the human mind works in very strange ways. So I have a feeling that I'm trying to find excuses to not like him, when I probably should. Because there was one bit where I was like, hang on a minute, you won't drink human blood, but you're more than happy to just kill people. Isn't that a bit of a conflict of interest? But then I thought to myself, well, I spoke to John about it before he left for work, actually, and he brought up the point, well, it's not that he's not drinking blood to protect humanity, he's just doing it so he doesn't become a full vampire. And I was like, oh, so he's just selfish. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because as far as I could work out in the actual show, he's the only like human turned vampire like in the show. Like and I had a look from the lore side of it as well a bit, and as far as I can tell, he is the only one. So he is again the special snowflake. From
what I know, the thing that makes him special is the fact that he hasn't drunk blood. Like from what I've been told,
blood, anyway.
Yeah, like the way the process works is you get bitten to be turned into a vampire, but in order to fully complete the transformation, you have to drink human blood. Yeah. Otherwise, you become a blood-starved beast, like Cruel was mentioning. And I guess drinking her blood staves that off, but it doesn't do anything more than that. So he's kind of still in this midway point where he's not quite vampire yet, but he's not human anymore.
Maybe that's the reason why he is with the vampires and he hasn't thrown caution to the wind, as he said.
Because he needs Cruel.
Her. So.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually, yeah. Man, see, it's just me. I'm trying to nitpick, and it's not working. Okay, Mika's cool. He's the best character. No, he's not.
I'll agree with that. We have decided on the best character for this stream, so that's it. I think we're done.
No, we all know that Shep is the best character, so it's fine. No, yeah, I guess, like I say, it was just me being like, oh, he's a Gary Stu. I'm trying to pick holes in the Gary Stu, but he is kind of actually quite well thought out. Anyway.
He could be, like, more fleshed out in the future. Like,
yeah, hopefully.
I think I need to know the big reason as to why he's suddenly like, humans are shit, you shouldn't be with humans. And I know it's the human experimentation thing.
He has a bit of a one-track mind at the end of the first season, which is a bit annoying. It's like, you've got to get out of here. I don't care that all your friends are dying. You've got to get out of here. All your friends are dying. You don't want to go because all your friends are dying, but we've got to get out of here. They're dirty humans.
Yeah,
Just leave them alone. Got to get out of here. Come on, you. What's that? You've got a tree growing out of your shoulder. Let's just get out of here. It's fine.
I don't understand why he was suddenly like, oh, he's obviously right now, because his friends are dying and people who he cares about are dying, he's obviously not reliving the horrible thing that happened to us when he thought we died. So what I need to do is just tell him that all humans are the worst and that we need to leave.
Yeah.
I think that was where his character faltered for me a bit.
Yeah.
Was
like,
during their
it would have made more sense, at least to me, I suppose, if he saved all of you's friends to get rid of the trauma that he was obviously experiencing. Like, that was why he was struggling. And clearly, you is quite powerful. He could have just gone, stop what you're doing, stop what you're doing, stop what you're doing, stop what you're doing. Right, you, let's fuck off. And it probably would have taken less time and would have avoided the whole thing.
It wouldn't have made for a very good finale, but...
No, it wouldn't have been very exciting, but it would have made more sense.
Yes.
And maybe been a little bit less annoying on Mika's part. But never mind.
I want to make a Mika AMV that's just songs by Mika. Remember the guy who used to be on radio all the time with the really high-pitched voice?
Oh, yeah,
When
yeah.
you just said Mika, and there was an artist.
Yeah.
I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky.
Okay. So,
That guy. Someone will understand, and it was worth it.
So, what happened next? So we had that. We had the aptitude. Right. Let's actually talk about Shiho now.
No.
we've been trying to talk about Shiho.
I hate her.
No. Shiho
That's just
is the bloke. Is the glasses guy. Is the guy who looks like the guy from HiQ.
I got the name
Pink-haired.
wrong.
Pink-haired guy.
He was
Yeah.
the worst. No, he
Telephone pole.
was. Yeah, a telephone pole.
It's the guy from HiQ with like earbuds in.
He looked exactly like a character from Haikyuu. I'm not wrong, am I?
No, he does. Just with pink hair. Pretty much.
Just needs to
Beanpole.
be playing volleyball and a little less angry and.
But even that guy's a dick as well. So clearly
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
true,
the same.
yeah.
It's just the same guy. This is HiQ in the future, and he's the only one that survived.
It was. I don't know what I thought to this character, to be honest. I think I liked his chemistry with Yu because they were like, oh, he's fighting and stuff, and that's funny. But I don't know.
He didn't make that much of an impression, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
I would
no-
agree with that.
The interesting part about him is, he's got his sick sister, and he's like, well, I really want my curse.
He's got his sick sister blood.
But she's meant to have this virus, but because I rewatched some of the episodes, and if you look at her face, it's the same sort of patterning that Yu gets when he turns like into that demon thing.
There's when he uses the demon's powers.
Yeah, so and I was like, I wonder if the two are actually linked. Like,
I think there is something to do with it because I saw one of the thumbnails for season 2, and
Right.
it kind of I won't say any more than that.
Oh.
I
Did
would
anyone
assume
notice
that-
actually talking about that like pattern on the face? Sometimes they'd be like, "Oh man, they're making a big deal about this pattern being on the face," and then they'd switch to a different shot and it'd just be gone. Like the animation could be really fucking inconsistent with this show for some reason.
Continuity, and then there'll be other times where they make a big deal out of it, and then there'll be other times where it just appears for no reason. Like, I've got markings on my face now because I'm Sasuke.
Sasuke. Sasuke. No.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that?
Sorry, I was just getting a status update from our host. So, so Shiho.
Guys, just so you know, if you say I'm not going to say anything about that, it's kind of a spoiler when you say that. So just don't comment on it.
It's leading in. You're treading a fine line when you do that. Walking on thin ice. But yeah. So yeah, he didn't make that much of an impact, but I have a feeling that his sister will become more important later on, and I'm wondering if that's kind of his reason for existing, and they've just taken it and gone, well, let's have him be a good foil to you, because like some of their scenes were quite funny. The bit with the car was amazing. I love that part when they're just like when Shinoa gets in and they're just like, "Ha, you're too short, you bitch." And then just
forgot
It
about
feels
that.
like a conversation that I have with a real person that I know who's quite short.
this bit is probably one of my favorite bits in the series as well, and it's like an example of proper good on point comedic timing, where Shiho and Yu have been arguing about the car, and then Shiho like leaves. He's like, sit in the back, behave yourself, and he leaves, and he starts chatting with the girls. And then just in the background, you see this car going down the road, bang, straight into a lamppost. I was like, that's perfect. Absolutely genius. And genuinely had me laughing out loud. That was how good it was. And it's like, oh, he crashed the car. It was great.
What a surprise. You left him with a car and he drove it and crashed it, even though you're like, I'll give you some driving lessons some other time.
It's just the way they presented it, because I find that comedy and anime sometimes can be quite in your face. So it was that kind of subtlety of it, where it's just going on in the background, that made me really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
So there was that. That was a thing. And so Shiho got introduced. They did the aptitude test. They get the gears, which we discussed a little bit. I find it's a bit weird, and I hope they develop it a bit more. That obviously because protagonist, but Yu's cursed gear is the only one that seems to have like a human form. Like you actually get to see the demon, because all the others are just kind of like they're just weapons, or you only see them when they're taking the form of other people in the character's memories. Whereas she's like, yeah, I'm a girl. Look at me with my purple and smoke.
Yeah. I wonder if that's just because we're seeing things from Yu's perspective, though, and like.
I think it's
the other guys get.
So that Yu's cursed gear is like pretty powerful as well, and this leads into a scene that I thought was good foreshadowing, when she's having a conversation with Yu, and basically goes, "You're not entirely human. There's something else going on in there."
Yeah, you're like 10% not human or something.
Yeah, and Yu's like, "What? What are you on about?"
Can I just jump back,
No.
a bit? If this kind of links in with this, so before they kind of get the cursed gears or go to do that trial to get it, when Yu's like chatting to Feared, whatever his name, or however you pronounce it, Feared, he says he thinks to himself, don't want to keep him for long. It's going to attract high grades, whatever, attention, and that's the top guy of the like armed forces. So I think that's kind of linking into this. Hey, there's this 10% not human thing. So maybe in the time in those 4 years, something was happening to Mika, and he was deliberately doing something to him. That was like just a glimmer of potentially like there was something else going on. Can
I just see if I've got this right? So far, we're led to believe that they've done something to Yu that has made him the Seraph of the End or whatever, or put the Seraph of the End in him, which could bring about the end of humanity. Is that right, or am I completely wrong?
I think they leave it kind of ambiguous. There's arguments to say that they put it in him, and there's also the argument to say that he's always had something else.
Right.
It's just that the experimentation that they've done on him while he's been with the vampire extermination guys has drawn that out, but more forcefully. But we don't know that, because we're not given that much information on what the Seraph of the End is. It just kind of gets the term gets thrown around, and then happens.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was supposed to know, because I was sort of playing Token Rambo while I was watching it. So.
Why do you do that? Like, if I try and play Token Rambo while watching anything on Viewster craps itself.
Because I had it on. I had it on my phone.
Okay.
So like a seraph, like because I looked up the definition, it's like a celestial
thing.
Yeah, it's a celestial being, basically. Like it's.
I wonder if, because Feyrid, there's an argument to say that Feyrid knows what the deal with Yu is, because he keeps referring to Yu as Mika's angel.
Oh,
I think
interesting.
that's right. Is it? Yeah, because he says go and find your angel, and that we're gonna find your angel, all that kind of stuff. Unless it's Mika who's saying I want to find my angel.
He also called you a princess at one point, and I
that bit where Mika like scoops you up into like a fireman's carry and then jumps up. I was like, what is this? like a bridal hold. It was so funny. I was like, it's just like, this is ridiculous. Why is you not flailing around, being like, get off me? But yeah. But yeah, the whole Seraph at the end thing is very kind of ambiguous and weird. And even when it was all kicking off, I was like, what?
See now, no, this is where I started to get a bit of conflict with it, and I was like, oh, hang on, are the vampires really kind of a bit of the good guys?
This is where you goofed, because you said when I got to episode 10, have you gotten to the bit where you don't know who the good guys are anymore? And I'm like,
I kind of know what that was. This was like episode 4 or 5, and I'm kind of like, when they were saying, oh, the humans are experimenting with the Seraph at the end again, another plague's happening, and I was like, going to happen. And I was like, well, are the humans really the bad guys? Like, are the other vampires actually on the good side? But then there's other stuff that happens where it's like, I think everything's just grey.
Yeah, I wonder if they're kind of going for the angle of there is no good side. It's completely relative based on the character, really, because the vampires are dicks because they use the humans for food, and they do it in a very kind of insidious way where they like capture them as kids and then hold them as livestock, and they kind of live as slaves almost, which is that won't fly past the Geneva Convention.
But there are actually laws though. About like there are laws that have been passed to say that you're not meant to feed on humans, like, and that's why they have like the transfusions.
Yeah.
So that,
yeah,
and they
still do.
But it is kind of just a thing of vampires. They need blood to live, and okay, it happens to be human blood, but so it's kind of like they can't help themselves in that respect. Whereas if they're asking for donations,
there's a more amicable way of dealing with it rather than just being predatory and like kidnapping people. Yeah. So there's that, and then you've got the human side of things, where it's like the only course of action that we've got is to eradicate them, and to do that we're going to experiment with this thing that we know nothing about, and it's caused this plague that's like killed a load of people. Whoops. We're going to do it again.
Didn't learn from our mistakes first time. Why not try it again? It couldn't possibly go wrong twice.
What could possibly go wrong? So yeah, I think there is no good side, unless your name is you, because he's the main character, so obviously he's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
I'm going to be interested to see where the whole who is right thing goes in the second season, because I feel like they're going to build on that more with the Gurren being ambiguously.
I wonder if they're kind
good.
of building towards Gurren being the antagonist.
Yeah.
But then you've got this whole power struggle with the main family of the Eradication Corps, and him being from the branch family. So I wonder if his experimentation is kind of a way of upsetting that balance. Like, he wants to be in control of the Seraph at the end and its power, so that the people who are above him have to yield. Because you only got like small glimpses of that. It was kind of just mentioned, get out of here, you're shit because you're from a branch family. So I wonder if there is that resentment there. And then you've got, on the other side of things, you've got Shinoa, who is from, I think it's the Hiragi family.
Yeah.
Like, she is like an heiress of the Hiragi family, but she's decided to stay where she is because she's not bothered about all that crap. And then you get the whole backstory involving her sister, which I think once we get more information about that might let us know more about the origin of things. Because when you see that snippet of her in that little flashback, she's just wearing a normal school uniform, and she's got like a curse gear. So, and it was a katana. So I wonder if it's the same curse gear that Yu has now. And I kind of hope that it is. Because that would be interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't really explain where they get the curse gears from either. Like, is there because they said there's a limited supply of them, like the black demon. Like,
they were saying that the one thing they did mention is that Shinoa's sister, is the reason they have cursed gears in the first place.
Yeah.
Like her sacrificing herself is what meant that they could have them. So, or they implied that it was her death that kind of brought that about. So again, that's a really interesting part of the backstory, which may let us know more. And I wonder if that is tied into them discovering the Seraph of the End as well.
Hmm.
I did quite like that, though. I like that that's their way of dealing with vampires. Like, one thing that I would say to this show's credit is they've thought of something interesting and different as their means of dealing with vampires. It's not just, crack out the garlic, mate, or get your wooden stakes.
I have a crucifix.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's like, no, in order for a human to be able to deal with a vampire, you have to make a contract with a demon, and that's cool. Yeah, it's a bit... It's a bit cliche, but it's not in this context. You know, it's a good idea to use in this context. It kind of makes the two marry together into a bit of a different thing. It does turn it into a bit of a clusterfuck, though, when you've got like humans, vampires, demons, man-eating beasts, and like all this kind of stuff.
Andy, could you check your Skype settings for a second, please? Can Andy hear us? Andy can't hear us anymore, can he? Hey, Andy's microphone's gone like insanely loud. So,
oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, no, you're not hosting. You're. Hold on.
And
technical difficulties.
So well. It did so well. It was doing so well.
So we shit.
What do?
Shit, son.
In the comments, DC David mentioned that he was surprised that no one made a Twilight joke, and funnily enough, when I saw what's his name, Crowley, in the sunlight, before I thought about the subway thing, the first thing that came to my head was, he's not sparkling. Good.
Good. Right, Andy's leaving for a second. He'll be back.
So the whole layout's going to be a complete mess.
It's all fucked. It's all fucked.
The
now.
illusion has been shattered. Oh no! Hamza makes a good point. It wouldn't be a proper stream without technical difficulties.
It was Dio.
We need Dio to turn up.
No, we don't.
Maybe that's where the start. You thought it was the Seraph at the end, but it was me, Dio. Aha!
Great. Anything else going on with anyone? Because if not, I'm just gonna crack open a bottle of cola when I can find it.
Cola.
Oh no, I'm not, because it's really far away. My headphone cable doesn't go that far. You know what? Fuck it. We're in technical difficulties mode. I'm gonna leave.
Just do whatever you want.
No.
So, guys, you enjoying the new season? I am. Heavy smells.
Wow.
Oh, damn it!
Offensive.
I wasn't expecting you to hear that. Never mind.
That is an offense to me and my people. Goodness gracious! You don't want to be doing that. There'll be fan fiction about that tomorrow. Andy, don't worry about it. Just sort out your technical difficulties, and we'll have a little chat while we're all like fucked up.
What have you watched from the new season so far? I know you said not much, but
I have watched. Let me bring up my anime list. So I'm watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Diamond is not Crash.
What do you think of that so far?
I really like it.
It's good, isn't it? It's so good.
I'm watching Miyuiga.
Okay, what do you think of Miyuiga?
Don't like it.
I'm glad I didn't bother then. I'm glad that I didn't bother with that and pick Joker Game instead, because that is amazing. Like, seriously, you have to watch the first 2 episodes of Joker Game.
I'm going to watch Joker Game for sure. I'm also watching ReZero, starting life in a new life. It's not Sword Art Online because it's not set in a video game, just a fantasy world.
Honest.
Which is, so far I've only seen like episode 1A and 1B, but apparently they're releasing 2 episodes a week, and I don't know if I've got time for that, so...
Okay.
And then I'm watching Sakamoto Desuka, which is fucking amazing, and I love it already. But episode 2 has been delayed, so...
Is that available, like, somewhere, or...?
It's on American Crunchyroll.
Okay, you're being naughty.
When I was visiting Andy, his PS4 has the American Crunchyroll app on it, so I could go forth.
It's fair enough. I would if the opportunity presented itself to me. So I'm watching Bungo Stray Dogs. I need to watch episode 2. I'll probably do that later. I'm watching Twin Star Exorcist, which is pretty fun. And then all the stuff that's on my channel. Ace Attorney, JoJo's, Terra for Mars, Kisniver, and stuff. God, I'm forgetting everything. Oh, My Hero Academia, obviously.
That one I haven't started watching yet because I'm waiting until I've got a little bit more, just a little bit more money saved up. Hooray!
Yay! Quick, stop talking about it.
Oh my god, what is going on Skype? Why won't you?
Can you hear us?
There we go. Oh my god, I think my PC is clearly just having like an aneurysm.
Yeah, I think you need to maybe look into what is causing that issue. But just to finish up that chat, anime's good, isn't it?
It is. This season is immense.
Although it's all just holding me over until next season when the Orange adaptation happens.
Have you watched Space Patrol Lilico yet?
No.
Fucking, what are you doing? You're a failure.
First you say a smell, then you say I'm a failure.
You're a smelly failure. Seriously, it'll take you 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
I don't have 10 minutes right now.
Yes,
I'm doing a podcast. I'm doing a live stream.
You have 10 minutes for Lilico. Everyone has 10 minutes for Lilico.
I don't know.
Anyway, like before Andy's computer explodes again.
Where were we?
Let's get this knocked on the head. So we were talking about Seraph at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. There were some vampires. We were talking about the flashback. We were talking about what's her name's sister, and that was leading in from us talking about there being no real good or badness. So all I can really start talking about is the actual bit where they got into the fighting, which is the best part of the series. And the rest, like this point of the series, so from like episode 7 onwards, it just goes like that. Pretty much. 7 or 8, I can't remember. But the rest of the show just disappears. But yeah, and it was good. What do we think about like the this has been so like trying to drag this thing out.
Welcome to OKKO, Andy. I hope you enjoyed it.
It's always good fun being an OKKO.
I think the thing with this one is because there's so much action, especially in this part, there isn't really that much to talk about that we haven't already discussed.
About the horsemen.
Oh, the 4 Horsemen of John.
Yeah.
The 4 Horsemen of George. They were interesting. Where the hell have they come from? I guess that's what I want to know.
I'm so interested in seeing what that's about.
What is that all about, mate? 4 Horsemen of John.
Like the ocean.
Who's John? I assume it's a biblical reference.
Probably.
Maybe. It
Is Andy having a
Quick.
realization?
Quick, to the nearest Bible.
The book of John.
Are you just going to quickly read like part of the Bible while we just do the rest of this?
And lo, John said, "Let there be vampires and a kick-ass anime where everyone gets kicked in the face." So it's more of a kick-face anime, really. There was that bit where I can't remember who it was that did it, but somebody like wheel kicks Guren in the face, and he literally like starts spinning, and he just like flies for ages, and he's spinning around, and it's hilarious.
Spinning around.
Hang on. So there's stuff about like John the Baptist denying being the Messiah, and him talking about the word and this beginning. So I'm wondering if the demons and stuff, were originally there, and because of the virus, they sort of become one of the dominant like species on the Earth over 4 years.
I'm wondering if the four horsemen of John, even though there's clearly more than four, are like a side effect of everything that's been going on. So they're not like attached to either of the factions. They're just sort of there as an after effect of all this crap that's been going down, possibly as a result of the experimentation and the virus, like you said, or something else. But they clearly like, it almost seems like the vampires manipulate them to a point, but merely as one would manipulate a wild animal. So like that trap with the girl and the horseman that was there and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And they're clearly like manipulating humans as well, like to be able to set all these traps up.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Mitsuba, who is the blonde girl with the axe.
I don't like her because she's a tsundere. Because
in every line she talks about formation. She's just obsessed with formations. You got to keep formation.
There was one line that she said that was like, "There's only 3 of us here, so we can't form a formation."
We can't make a formation. Oh no! She's just obsessed with formations because her old captain said you have to keep formation, lol, and then like got eaten.
Because she didn't keep formation.
God damn it, woman! Gotta keep formation. We haven't kept formation in this stream.
No, not all.
Never mind.
It's fine, I think. No one really wanted to talk about this show, right?
But yeah, I thought that she seemed a bit, I don't know, like shoehorned in. Like she appeared to be a more experienced member of the group, and I guess they were just like, we need more girls, so here we go. The only thing that I liked about her was how much Shinoa trolled her. She was just yet another troll target, and there was that bit where she tickled her in the shower. I was like, yeah, okay, I can live with this.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that scene completely, man.
Yeah, and they're just like, they're all standing outside being like, what are they doing? What sets this aside from any other anime series is they didn't then go, let's find out. Get the towel on the head, here we go.
I will say, in her defense, I guess, I thought she would be completely insufferable, but I just sort of forgot about her as time went on, and whenever she turned up, she wasn't that bad. So
yeah, she went from being annoying to just being a non-entity that was just sort of there.
Just sort of, being there.
I think the problem is, with her turning up so late into the series, as opposed to the other characters. So we've had Yu from the start. We've had Yoichi, who made an immediate impact, particularly after like getting his curse gear and stuff. We've had Shinoa, who again has made an impact, constant source of entertainment throughout the show up till this point. Shiho to a lesser extent, but I think he kind of got more time in the spotlight simply by being so like antagonistic towards Yu. Whereas she gets introduced and is just kind of like, oh, keep formation. I've got a tragic past too, look. But then after that, she didn't really make any kind of impact.
Yeah, I'd agree with that completely.
I think she just, the only thing that she really added was she added a bit more of the Yu's turning less of a I'm all for myself and slightly like going out of his way to be part of the team, because he saves her life at one stage.
Yes. Yeah, he does, as a result of breaking formation.
Yeah. So that's really the only value I think she added to help
I just feel as though like
expand.
It would have been better almost, I think, if they just had it so she was there from the start, like if she was in the school. And I guess they needed someone with military experience, which makes sense. But why not just have her like be at the school as like a supervisor or something? Just give her more of a presence in the earlier stages, so she's not stuck playing catch up. Like, I know they can't just throw characters at you right at the start, but when you consider that the principal cast of this series is quite small, I reckon they could have gotten away with it, particularly in a military setting.
Yeah.
So, but I guess, again, it suffers because they shoehorned in a school for the first few episodes.
Because why not?
There was another female character from the Moon Demon Squad that was like, you hardly even saw her. She was there when
black hair.
I think she was sort of brownish hair. So she was one. She was at the demon. There were
a couple of them.
Oh, the teacher.
There was the teacher lady with the like bandaged sword.
Why was her sword bound? Like I
don't know.
There must be significance to that. That annoyed me. I was like, you're not going to kill any vampires with your sword bandaged up, love. Sort that out.
Then there was the power glove lady, and then there was the girl with the throwing knives.
Kunai girl. Yeah.
I can't remember because she was such an insignificant character. I just remember there being another female there. And
there were a few girls, yeah.
But they could have quite easily introduced her in her place, and then kept her on from that stage on, because that was quite early on.
Yeah. Like, had someone a bit more interesting.
Yeah,
I guess. But yeah, like when they show off the other characters from, like, I assume, like, Guren's squad. So you had the girl with the gauntlet.
The pipe was so freaking cool.
The guy with the
I love
pipe.
that guy.
That guy was pro. The guy with the pipe. You had the girl with the gauntlets. She was cool. Just because she just punches stuff. She punches vampires and they explode. That's what we like. Then you had the other girl with the kunai, and at first I was like, surely having your cursed gear being kunai is a bit shit, because you throw it out and then where's it gone? Oh no. But it's alright because it's got wires on it, so it's fine. You call them back, it again.
It's almost like kunai with chain.
Kunai with chain.
Kunai with chain.
What I'm waiting for is for someone to turn up with a boomerang. Should be like, it's alright.
Cursed gear.
This. G'day, mate. This is my cursed gear.
So the token Australian member of the cast.
I'm sure there is one in the dub. There better be one in the dub at least. Actually, no. If there's anyone from Osaka, they'll be Texan, so it's fine. Who else was there? There was the girl with the bandaged up sword, which I don't understand at all. There's clearly some sort of significance as to why it's bound up, but she's not going to kill anyone like that. And yet Guren got all like up his arse about the fact that you didn't want to kill a vampire. Why aren't you having a go at her for like battering people with a brolly, basically? Bastard. Clearly there's some favoritism going on. And then was that all we saw? Was that his? Yeah, that's his team of 5, isn't it? So we got bound up sword, him, pipe guy, gauntlets, and kunai. Yeah.
Can we talk about my favourite bit of the show? Is when you sees Guren's being stabbed by Mika and just runs up to him and stabs him. And then he realises that it's him. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
This is the bit. Like, this episode and the episode immediately after it is probably what I would say is the best part of the show. Because it's just when everything goes to shit. Because it's just like, he runs Mika through with the sword. And then he's all like, oh, no. Oh, we're friends. And then Guren's all like, why aren't you turning your curse on? I didn't even know that turning your curse on was a thing.
I thought it was just always.
I thought he'd committed to that, and I was gonna be like, oh my god, he just killed him.
That's what I thought as well.
Yeah, and they're like, no, turn your curse on and kill him. It's like, what? That's a bit of a cop out. But yeah, and then you got Guren being a bit like, oh, you're being a dick, and then suddenly everyone gets mullered, and they're all on the floor. Mika and you are bickering. And then this is all the lead up to the
I was gonna say, aren't people like even getting sucked, like vampired in the
vampires
in the neck? Bitten. That's the one. My God.
I think it's immediately after this part. So
right, okay.
This is when it all starts to go wrong. Because after Mika gets run through, it's when Crowley turns up. because Crowley appears with more vampires, and then we're just like, okay, shit, we're heavily outnumbered now. And then that's when it all starts to go horribly wrong. And in the meantime, we've got like you and Mika arguing, and then that's what leads up to everyone just being on the floor. And then Mika's like, no, you can't save them, they're shit.
That was my problem with Mika. I was interested, I was invested, and he went and messed it up right at the friggin' end. Cause...
Also, pills, yeah? So we've got these pills that make you stronger, but you can't have 2 because you might die. And you can't have 3 because you'll definitely die.
And you can't have 4 because, like, you just blow up.
You'll be dead by this point.
I learned that they were like, oh, you could have 10, but you would explode.
Yeah, and that is exactly why Shinoa's the best. It's like, well, technically you could have 10. You'd probably be as powerful as a god if you weren't dead already by that point. So yeah, and I like that. I like that about, because it kind of showed Yu's character as well, how he got like really excited. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna eat 10 and be really powerful, it's gonna be awesome, yeah, cram them all in his face straight away.
Yeah.
These Tic Tacs make you more powerful. What is it about anime and like drugs? Have you noticed that there are a lot of shows like this where they're like, if you want to be more powerful, drugs. Just take drugs, it's fine. Steroids, yes, cool.
It's a great.
Like Terraform Mars as well.
Yeah, it's just a
Inject
common
drugs.
It's a common trope where it's just, yeah, drugs. I'll sort you out. So I like how she's just like, it's basically doping. That is the comparison that she makes. Pretty much doping at this point. But then they make the point of later on being like, it was Yu's medicine that caused his transformation because they'd slipped something in. They put a bit of ecstasy in there.
It wasn't quite pure.
Yeah, they'd mucked around with it to make that happen. Well, I like that as well. Like when he starts tapping into the sword's power because he's getting like really upset and stuff. The demon turns up and she's like, yeah, I would help you kill all the vampires, but I'm actually pretty scared right now because there's some crazy bullshit going on in the sky. You might want to check that out. Oh, it's too late. You're a tree now. So this is, I mean, we're pretty much leading up to this point of the show, which is when the Seraph of the End thing happens. What did we think of that?
That was fucking badass.
Yeah, mate.
It was cool because it just happened so suddenly because it was like no prior warning, and then suddenly his eye just turns red.
It's just like, he looks up, suddenly, pink eye.
What?
Yeah, I was just like, whoa! Because on top of everything that's happened now, because like when everyone got mullered, I was like, oh shit! And yeah, and then this happens, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on? What are you doing? Why is there a tree? Why do you have a tree coming out of your back? That's all I could think. I know it's supposed to be indicative of like a wing, because he's a seraph, blah, blah, blah. But it just looked like a tree.
Yeah. I lost what I was thinking.
Come on, you can do it.
Carry on.
I liked about it was it shows one of the things that they give is like, oh, humans are greedy and vampires are arrogant, and I like that it kind of showed the arrogance of the vampires at this point because what's his name, Crowley's all like, oh, that's pretty interesting. He's got a tree growing out of his back. I'm gonna start on him, and then he starts on him, and then he just goes, fuck off, and like bats him into a building, and he's genuinely shocked that he's got that much power, and he's just like, because there's that bit where he just blows up a building by like swinging his sword, and Crowley's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Oh no. It just like gets kicked away. So yeah, I like, go on. I
was gonna say, Kim also just mentioned about there being more like angels coming from the sky. Like, what if like Seraph of the End is actually like the angel of death, and that is pretty much like part wing, part like angel wing coming out of his back instead of a tree.
Yeah.
And that is that is what is happening to him. Like, maybe if he takes more of the drugs, he's slowly going to turn into this sort of angel of death, and that is what causes the virus again.
Yeah, maybe, because I got the impression that it was only a partial transformation, and that's why it looks like a tree. Because it is just like almost like the underside of the wing, so it's not got any feathers or anything. It's just the kind of skeleton, even though it was more of a tree.
Just before he transformed into that thing, didn't he like have a conversation with the demon that was in his sword?
So he had a conversation
like angels or horns or something came down from like heaven. So yeah, maybe
I liked that imagery. That was cool because like it's like you say, a seraph is a messenger of God. So like,
probably would have been a lot cooler had I known that beforehand. But
yeah, I like that though. How she was kind of like, don't worry, because I like how the sword sort of became cool. Like at first she was like, I'm going to help you kill the vampires, and I'm going to feed on your lust for destruction, and I'm going to take over your body eventually. And now she's just like, I'm going to help you out, but can we deal with this first? Because this is actually making me a bit worried.
I genuinely thought for some reason when he had that like moment where he snapped, when he saw everyone like what he assumed was dying, I guess, and they were all getting sucked, as Andy said. I thought that was going to be like that moment of weakness where the demon would then take over his body, because the demon said, if you ever show a moment of weakness, I'll be there to fuck you up, son. And usually when you say shit like that, it has a point. So I was like, maybe this is where that's going. But it didn't.
She's just straight up decided to take a back seat. She's like, I don't like this, so I'm going to let you do what you're doing and we'll sort this out. But yeah, I think this was probably combined with everything that's happened before this. So Mika getting run through, that was a holy shit moment. Everyone getting battered, that was a holy shit moment. Then this on top of all of that was just like, oh, and easily adds up to these 2 episodes being the kind of high point of the season for me. And probably for most people, I would assume.
It was quite cool.
And then it ends like he gets saved by the power of friendship.
Yep.
Again, like friendship is magic.
Yeah, I like how Guren's like, you can do this. You can sort it out. Give him a hug, mate. And then the thing is, right, I probably would have been happy if the series ended there, but they had another episode where nothing really happens. Like,
he's in the hospital and we learn more about human experimentation. Okay.
You were knocked out for 7 days. Holy crap! And there's a cute bit where Shinoa sits down and they have a bit of an interaction, and she's all like blushing and stuff, and he's all like, "What are you doing? What is that on your face?"
And that's also the bit where like maybe you're falling for him.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then she's like, "Nah, don't be stupid."
Knob. But yeah, I liked some of the stuff that happened in the episode. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like after the massive high that was the episode before it just kind of felt a bit like, oh, everything's back to normal now.
Yeah.
There's that bit like right before the end of the episode where he stands by the hospital window and he's like, oh, Mika's alive, all my friends are alive, everything's good. Apart from the fact that I suppose he doesn't know.
He doesn't remember what happened.
Yeah,
so.
But still, it's like, where's that building gone? What's happened there?
Because as far as he knows, you just sort of fainted and like just blacked out.
Well, doesn't Shinoa say something like, "Oh, you just passed out"?
Yeah.
But after saying, "Oh, I just got tired and I fell asleep."
Yeah. So as far as he knows,
been in a coma for 7 days because of that.
So as far as he knows, it's just like a massive wuss that just fainted in the middle of battle.
It was them pills, mate.
Yeah, shouldn't have done that, mate. That's what happens when you take drugs.
This is why you don't take drugs. You get in a coma for 7 days, and you get trees growing out your back. So you know, it's not healthy. But yeah, I felt like it was a bit of a. It did some foreshadowing. You saw some stuff. You kind of get that little flashback that teases more stuff that's going to happen with Shinoa's sister and like the cursed gears and stuff like that. You get Guren being a bit more of a knob and just being like really reticent to give any sort of information whatsoever about what was going on. So I suppose that was an important part of this episode, because it gives you more of an impression that not only does Guren know what's going on from what he was saying to Feyrid and stuff like that, like after he coyly says, "Oh, I don't know anything about this," after that he goes on to explain more, and he clearly knows what's going on because he orders Shinoa to do stuff about it. But then she comes in and she's all like, well, you ordered me to put that stuff in his pills. Was that anything to do with this? And in saying no, he invariably says yes. So it kind of... Oh, go on.
I was going to say that's also like in the super secret area that you have to have like a certain rank to be able to get in or part of this family.
Yeah. So it's like hidden down, and it kind of drives home the fact that there is a lot more to Guren than's being let on, and again kind of solidifies the impression that he is going to become an antagonist later on.
Yeah.
Or at least, which would be interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to watch season 2 right now and do another OKKO on it right now.
Sure.
Camera.
Go.
Camera, stop it.
Focus. Yeah.
It's better than my technical difficulties, Abby. Don't complain.
Yeah, but
So
I don't know if we are going to do another OKKO on this because it is on Viewster, so it just depends if people want one, I guess, and if we want to put up with Viewster for another.
I wouldn't mind doing it. For all its foibles, Viewster is okay. It could be a lot better, but it could be a lot worse.
I would like to watch season 2, so...
Yeah, if you had the ads, though, you would understand how obnoxiously placed they are.
Well, when I watched Aoharu and Kekai Sensen, so the 2 shows we've had prior to this, I have had ads, and it was very annoying. It was just this time, for some reason, I didn't.
Clearly, you just need to keep watching it on your phone.
Yeah, exactly. So I think maybe, because Ebby, you and I need to have a conversation about what shows we're going to do going forward.
So if you have any suggestions, now's the time.
we'll weave in. Maybe we can weave in Seraph of the End season 2 because I think this thing, for all its foibles, we're clearly slightly invested in it enough to watch the second season.
I really want to. It's just it's nice to have a point when you're watching a show. So exactly. How would you feel about watching season 2, Andy?
You know what? I think it's intrigued me enough to watch the second season of it.
Yeah.
Cool. Sure, I think that's a good point for us to lead into final thoughts then, really.
All right.
So, can I just say quickly?
Go on.
About even though it really didn't suit the sort of characters, I really like the artwork that they used in the background.
Yeah. I was going to mention this because the backgrounds look like they were hand painted rather than.
There was one background in particular. I think it's when it's in the school. Annoyingly, I think it's when they're on the roof and they're looking at the city, and it literally looks like the skyline has been painted in watercolors.
Yeah, that
was really nice. It
was really reminiscent of all of the concept art from the Fallout series, which I absolutely love. And I just love seeing it in all of the scenes, even though it was a completely different to how the characters were animated.
Yeah,
but I think that
it fit though. I think it strangely works.
Yeah.
I will say as well, just like the general art style and animation of this show was really nice. I mean, like we said, there were a couple of continuity errors, but other than that.
There's definitely some CG people in the background which were really jank.
The CG was super jank at first, but
I think there was less of it as time went on. The only piece of CG that I can really remember is the car, and that was only there for a gag. So
it was there was the episode where the vampire got loose in the school, and you was running against a crowd of people. And everything was CG as fuck.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, okay. But other than that, it did look nice. The animation was smooth, and it just looked good. And what I liked about it as well is they had line variants. So the thickness of the outlines was varied in some places to a point. At some points, quite dramatically as well, which I appreciate because it kind of makes the characters pop out a bit more. And some shows don't do that as much. They're a bit more clean cut. There was one piece of music as well that I really liked in this show because it reminds me of Shin Megami Tensei. It's from this. You can listen to the soundtrack. It's called Battlefield, and it's the track that's got the distorted guitar, and it's quite slow, and it's just kind of got this distorted guitar intro that kind of slowly builds into a more fleshed out piece of music.
Yeah.
And it was really, really nice. I like me a good guitar. Are you looking for it now, Andy?
I am.
Yeah.
All I can find is Battlefield 4 though.
It's on YouTube. If you just look for Seraph of the End, OST Battlefield.
All right.
Did you just search Battlefield on YouTube?
No. There we go. Got it.
Did you search Battlefield OST?
No. I put in Seraph, but I spelled it wrong, so that's probably why I was just chuck in Battlefield. Okay. Yeah.
You remember the one?
Yeah.
That's my favorite track from the soundtrack. It's just, I don't know, it just kind of struck a chord with me. I was like, this is really nice. But yeah, so from there, let's move to final thoughts. So Ebby, we started with you, so let's start ending with you.
Okay, it's the beginning of the end. It's the Seraph of the End.
Oh, you can be Ebby. You are the Seraph of the End.
I am the Seraph of the End. Hold on, this is my tree.
Where's your tree, mate? There we go.
This is my tree. That really hurts, actually. I'm not going to do that anymore. So, like I said, I went into this show with super low expectations because everybody was saying, it's a little bit trash. It's a little bit trash, not going to lie. And I honestly just got so much more out of this anime than I thought I would. I thought the plot was interesting enough. I liked the characters enough. And it's got me intrigued to watch more of it, which is more than can be said for a lot of shows that we talk about sometimes. Like, sometimes I watch an episode of a show and I don't want to watch anymore, but this one made me want to watch an entire other season. So, yeah, with that, because I was so pleasantly surprised, I will be giving this a 7 out of 10. 7.
Go on then, Andy.
Okay, I think it started off like the first episode. I think it kind of ended on a bit of an unexpected high, and then with kind of the school stuff, it made a bit of a slump, and then it sort of ramped it up at the end. And something we didn't mention as well, actually, is the fact that the vampires had like Apache helicopters.
That's the best thing about it. They like planes and stuff. I thought that was great.
And I think that was really like fun to watch in places. And overall, I kind of was like, I don't. There's all these grey boundaries that I was again intrigued about, like seeing like who's the good guys, who's the bad guys, and just trying to figure out what was actually happening. But I don't feel like I can give it a 7. I feel like it's a 6 for me. Like, okay. I want to watch the second season, but I think the slump, like at the start of it, kind of brought it down a bit.
Okay, that's fine. It's your opinion, man.
just on the thought of the helicopters, there was that bit where you have the two vampires in like the cargo plane, just full of explosives. I was like, that is hilarious because they're vampires, so clearly don't care, but also a little bit in poor taste.
Yeah.
But I still got a kick out of it. Anyway, yeah, Seraph of the End. I enjoyed it. Like we all agree, there were high bits, there were low parts. So the first episode was really, really good. Kind of slumped a little bit in the rest of the first third, I would say, and then started picking up. Had like a really, really good moment, and then just sort of tapered off at the end. But I would never say that there was a point where I thought to myself, "This show is bad," or "This is bad." Like it's worst average.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed watching it. Like the pair of you, I'll happily go forth and watch the second season. I'm interested in reading the manga as well, because that's just what I do now, apparently. If I watch a show that even vaguely interests me for OKKO, I go out and buy the manga. I've got the first 3 volumes of Blood Blockade Battlefront just sitting there. Only read the first one yet, though. It's not deviated yet, so I'm waiting to get to that point. But anyway, yeah, so definitely worth a watch, I would say, by pretty much anyone, because it's kind of typical action show, but like you said, Andy, the morality isn't quite as straightforward as, say, other shows like this, which makes it a bit more interesting, maybe a bit more mature than, I would say, the more classic anime sort of action-based shows, and makes it a bit more intriguing than your run-of-the-mill shonen. But that's balanced out by the bits that were a bit like, oh, well, it's in a school again. But I think at least now that they kind of pulled away from that, I don't think they'll return to that setting. So
No.
maybe it'll be all right. Maybe I can forgive it if they don't go back there. So rating is hard. I think I'm somewhere between 6 and 7. But I think I'm going to give it a 7 as well, though. I'm going to be generous, because if it fell between 6 and 7, it's a high 6, and I'd rather just round it up. So let's just do that. Let's give it a 7. I'm generous with my scores at the worst of times. So
yeah, I think mine was a high 6. High 6, but I couldn't.
But you were cruel. You're just like, no.
I was cruel. Like, no.
There's one thing I know about Andy, it is that he is a cruel being that
just
likes
hate-
to kick things when they're down.
From the Doom stream that you did yesterday, from what I know, you just don't like anime anyway. So
I just hate everything, apparently.
you don't like things.
No, why would I like things?
Yeah, so
So that gives it a total 20 out of 30.
20 out of 30. That's
Not
2 out
too
of 3.
bad.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
I'll give it a half star. No, half. That's more than half. Hold on. No, I can't work that out. Never mind.
So, yeah, that's our stream then.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for coming, as per usual. What are we doing?
Next time we are doing season 1, not the second half of Snow White with the red hair. So we're specifically doing. So we're specifically doing the first 2 episodes. Same deal as this, basically. So there is a second half, but we are not going to be talking about that. And again, we'll have mods on
Standby.
Mods on standby for spoils and stuff. So we should say thank you to Kinross and Emily for modding for us. I don't know.
Being the mods.
I don't know where Emily's been. I'm sure she's been lurking.
She was having some issues with the stream. She kind of popped in and out.
But thank you for modding.
I'm pretty sure everyone behaved themselves tonight anyway. So thank you guys for that. So good, on your best behaviour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on as well.
Thank you for
That's
coming,
all right.
Andy. We hope to have you on again for maybe Warino Seraph season 2.
I'm really sorry. There were so many technical difficulties.
or maybe
fine.
before we
It wasn't
do
too bad.
maybe before we do a Warino Seraph 2, we'll end up doing Terraformars again.
Yes, Terraformars. I am gonna rip that show to shreds.
It's gonna be great.
Mhm.
But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for joining.
See you next time.
Bye bye.
I was about to hang up the Skype call instead of ending the stream. Then.
Don't do that.
Don't know.
I'm gonna do that. Ending the stream now.